Hello again. Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Joe Love. Here to review. Boy, was it a good episode of Dynamite last night. As Forbidden Door is coming up in less than 2 weeks, on the 26th, we are here 10 days away. 10 days away. Last night would have been 11, but 10 days away from Forbidden Door. And it looks like it's shaping up really nicely. We got some more insight and direction as some more of the matches included on Forbidden Door, as well as going to go over some of the results of Dominion and how they will shape up Forbidden Door, which happened on Sunday or Saturday, whichever you were. And I'll go over Jeff Hardy and a little bit about Mr. McMahon. But nonetheless, thank you for joining me. If you're new to the podcast and you want to see more of these pro wrestling views, etc., click the description there in the corner. Find more videos on the homepage. Of course, I uploaded my Rampage review on Saturday, and now I'll upload another on this Saturday, as well as, of course, this AEW Dynamite review. So, thank you. Let's get into the news first. So, Jeff Hardy. So, last night, it was supposed to be a triple threat tag team ladder match between the Hardys, the Bucks, and Jurassic Express for the AEW World Tag Team titles. Instead, it was still a very good main event between the Bucks and Jurassic Express, still for a tag team titles ladder match. But the Hardys were removed because Jeff Hardy the other day was arrested again for driving under the influence with a provoked license. I mean, third offense in a decade. It's just unfortunate because now he's been suspended without pay by Toni Khan and AEW until he goes to rehab and then gets sober. And then once that happens, he'll be able to return. I mean, some probably thought for Tony Khan to fire Jeff Hardy on the spot. This only Jeff's first offense in AEW. Jeff had multiple offenses during his time with WWE, and of course led to him getting fired from the company a few months ago. Look, if he got fired, he would have been left the hook, really. Yes, he would have been unemployed, but he gets off the hook. And I mean, in order for him to get better, he has to go to rehab, and hopefully he gets the help he needs, because I am a big Jeff Hardy fan. You know, through the moments, through his time WWE, you know, the the TLC matches, that Outbreak match with The Undertaker, ladder match in '02. That was fun when Jeff had his hand raised, all the ladder matches, his feud with Punk, his feud for the WWE title with Triple H and Edge, etc. You know, it's been it's difficult because hopefully Jeff gets back together, and there's that. Mr. McMahon is also under investigation due to numerous reports, including Bleacher Report, that he's being under investigation from a paralegal and the WWE board with news that he had a affair with a paralegal a couple years ago with and John Laurinaitis as well. He had an affair as well with this woman, and they upped her salary, and I'm a pro wrestling fan through and through. Of course, you want WWE to get better, and for the last number of years, they have taken no accountability in trying to get better and how to get worse. This is definitely a blow to them, a mighty blow to their circumstances and their hierarchy. And still pretty preliminary, but this is just jaw dropping to say. Then Dominion. So Dominion, New Japan Pro Wrestling had their events Saturday night, Sunday morning, depends again where you were. In Osaka. But New Japan had an event which had some very telling results and an interesting call out. We'll start with the call out, might as well. Zack Sabre Jr. He entered an interview, called out Bryan Danielson for a match at Forbidden Door. He said, and I quote, "Can you take time out of your busy golfing schedule with the Blackpool Country Club for some time to find out who the best technical wrestler on the planet is? And news, darling, It's fucking me. So it's clear that Zack Sabre Jr., that is definitely a dream match that has been looked forward to for a bit since Bryan has come to AEW, and obviously this mix and working together pairing of New Japan and AEW. It would be a fun or definitely an intriguing match to say the least. Well, Ospreay, he had a great match last night with Dax Harwood of FTR, but which I'll get into in a bit, but excuse me, at Dominion. So Juice Robinson, who last month at their Washington show for New Japan, won a 4-A match against Naito. I believe Naito, Ospreay, and Moxley for the IWGP United States Championship. And recently he's undergone appendicitis, and there were thoughts that he may be able to defend the title at Dominion, but he did not. He refused to, and he's been stripped. So instead, for the vacant championship, Ospreay defeated Sonata in a match to crown the new IWGP United States champion. But Juice Robinson is still in possession of the IWGP United States title. So he was not awarded that title. Ospreay after match, nor was he shown with it on Dynamite last night. So a little bizarre, but with the news that Ospreay is gonna face Orange Cassidy in a match at Forbidden Door for the IWGP United States title, I imagine Ospreay will have the title then. I imagine, but that could be a show-stealing match. That's the case. And then the main event, Switchblade Jay White defeated Kazuchika Okada for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. In the main event, White afterwards cut a great promo on Hangman Page, the state of pro wrestling and how he's the catalyst, how it was for him. There would be no AEW, but I mean, it was a bit of a weird state when seeing Jay White last night at Dynamite, and curious to see who he will face at Forbidden Door. We'll see though. Well said. Hair versus hair. Jericho versus Ortiz. We had face-off between Jon Moxley and Hiroshi Tanahashi, and the ladder match as well, but get to all that in a sec. But let's get started with the review, shall we? So, show started off with Chris Jericho, first Ortiz, hair first hair. This was a solid opening match. Now, obviously, when this match came about and Blood and Guts coming up, I knew Jericho was going to lose this match. Just not going to lose it. And we all expected. But what happened afterwards was very thrilling. So, back and forth to start. Obviously, both know each other very well. Now, there was a bit of a botch in this match. Now, Jericho, like he does very well, he went for his top rope hurricanrana on the corner, but Ortiz countered into a powerbomb, hit a top rope headbutt for a near fall. So, I'm not sure if it looked like Ortiz almost dropped him. Still connected. Ortiz, or I'm also not sure if Jericho was supposed to land there Corona, but just didn't flow well. Nonetheless, headbutt for 2. They were on the apron. Jericho hit a suplex to Ortiz to the outside. Back from break, Ortiz hit a Tower of London spot, the top rope cutter for a near fall. He then hit a DT for another near fall. Ortiz went for I assume a twisting splash out of the corner. Jericho ducked, then hit a cold breaker for 2. So, the Jericho Appreciation Society was out there at ringside, and then Eddie Kingston. Then all of a sudden there was a huge brawl at ringside between JS and then Santana, and then Will Yuta came down to help out. But numbers game was there. Kingston with the referee distracted. Hit Jericho with a back fist. Ortiz followed up with a near fall. People thought it was it. Fuego del Sol, or so we thought. Fuego del Sol with Jericho's bat. Knocked out Ortiz right in the middle of the ring. Jericho came out on top, 1, 2, 3. And Jericho wins the hair versus hair match versus Ortiz, as expected. After match, Jericho and Hager up with, at least we thunk, Fuego del Sol for a sec on mass. And it was Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara rejoins the Jericho Appreciation Society, and Jake Hager and Chris Jericho pretty much fully convincingly throw a heel again. Which, I mean, best way for Sammy to do. Best way. You know, Sammy, they can probably argue about it, the situation, all they want, but them being on Sammy and Ty were not a baby face fact. They were not a babyface duo on television, despite AEW's tries, tribulations to make it happen. But nonetheless, Sammy Guevara reunited, and now there's 2 more members to the Jericho Appreciation Society. Makes me a little bit nervous because now there's 7 members in JS, but we'll see. So, the barber who was shown at ringside, some schmuck in glasses and a jacket, he got in the ring basically in front of Kingston and Ortiz, basically let him know, like, it's time. You gotta cut your hair. So then Ortiz, this was the first. Jericho or Ortiz took the shears and the scissors, proceeded to cut his hair while Kingston said, "This ain't over." And Ortiz managed to keep shouting blood and guts, blood and guts, blood and guts as he's cutting his own hair. Later in another segment, he was shown bald. So that's a good thing there, but interesting way to start off. Then we went to not as fun. So Wardlow, he was out there. First of all, it looked like new gear and new theme music. I didn't really know it until he was down to the ramp, but sounded pretty good. Sounded pretty well for him. So good to hear. Kind of overdue. Against the 20 plaintiffs, this was kind of a mess. A mess. This was comedic and this was just not well. So all 20 plaintiffs got on the apron. And Dasha Gonzalez, who was filling in. Yeah, I'm not even sure she knew the rules. I mean, they said on commentary, Wardlow had to pin or submit all 20 guys. Only one of the guys had to pin Wardlow. So, just like a cluster of a mess. You know, guys were going after Wardlow. Wardlow just powerbombed guys, attacked them all, started stacking guys up one by one or at like fours on top of each other, pinning them all. They eventually got the win. I mean, it's hard to say, but that was probably the low point of the show, which is unfortunate because it kind of sends from. I mean, 2 weeks ago, coming out of his big moment from Double or Nothing, Wardlow faced JD Drake in a nothing match, a jobber match. Last week, when he should have been the Battle Royal, he did not oblige and said he wanted the TNT title. But, anyways, nonetheless, after this, which made me pop because I'm a UFC fan. So, obviously, Dan Lambert is coach of American Top Team. So, he and Sky were in the skybox. And Matt Hughes, UFC Hall of Famer, and Tyler Lilly, who I'm not the biggest fan of, but it was good to see him. So they were at ringside. Dan Lambert ordered them to get in the ring. Now, for those who don't know the story, when Matt Hughes was in a car a number of years ago that was hit by a train. Now, he looks to be in a bit better shape, and obviously much better shape. Haven't seen much of him since he was moving a bit gimpy into the ring, but still looked like he was in good shape. Woodley, was there. So he ordered the guys to try to attack Wardlow. Same with Sterling. But Wardlow tried to ward off, saying, "We're cut from the same cloth, both from St. Louis. And I don't think you want to take orders from an asshole in a skybox." So Woodley threw Sterling into Wardlow, and he got a powerbomb for his efforts. Sterling did, but I liked the end, but it was a mess. Then what was a great match, pretty much a match of the night. I mean, for me, the main event was very fun, but this match was... You cannot discount how good Dax Harwood is as a wrestler. Him with Ospreay, arguably the best wrestler on the planet. I mean, you knew it was going to be fun. So, they're out there, like I said. So, Ospreay wasn't with the U.S. title, but he was with the British Heavyweight Championship. So, they were going back and forth to start. Ospreay in a good transition, he slipped between Dex's feet and looked like he was going to drop him on the apron, but looked like he only got one of Dex's feet, and he kind of slipped and tweaked one of his knees or ankles. Hope he's okay. And then Ospreay drop kicked him into the steps, then went into break. By the way, Dax had some hard hitting chops to Ospreay. You could hear him. He even hurt his hand on one of the chops. That how you can tell. So back from break, big wrestling. So Dax was hitting his big German suplexes, but Ospreay fired back. Dax went for a diving headbutt but missed. Springboard 450 by Ospreay for a near fall. So Dax went for a top rope back suplex on Ospreay, but Ospreay counted to a crossbody midair for a near fall, and then Dax actually rolled through for a near fall of his own. On the outside, Ospreay hit a plancha. Back in the ring, Ospreay had a diving back elbow off the top for 2 count. Ospreay went for the Os cutter, but Dax caught him into a wheel or a electric chair position. Swiftly then hit the slingshot powerbomb, which always looks brutal for a 2 count. Great counter as well. So Dax went for a big lariat, but Ospreay floated over, hit a powerbomb of his own for a 2. Hit the Os cutter finally, but only for a near fall. Then finally, Ospreay hit the hidden blade to the back of Dax's head for the win, and Ospreay wins his first singles match in AEW. He lost the trios match, but he didn't get pinned on Rampage. But it's great to see, and apparently next week there'll be a trios match between Ospreay and Ozzy Open versus Orange Cassidy and Roppongi Vice. Interesting. Look, I love how they're using Ospreay as much as they can, because I mean, Ospreay is again arguably the best wrestler on the planet, and you want to utilize him as much as you can till Forbidden Door. So good for AEW to utilize Ospreay as much. And a match against Dax Harwood. Now, afterwards, the rest, the United Empire, and Roppongi Vice, and Cash Wheeler, they all came out, had a big brawl. Orange Cassidy's music hit. Orange Cassidy is back. Freshly squeezed. He is back. He tried out to the ring. Ospreay was the only one left. And Orange Cassidy circled around Ospreay and they had a bit of a face-to-face. And, you know, Ospreay versus Orange Cassidy at Forbidden Door, I am all for. I mean, Ospreay is too good to leave off card, especially with the potential Okada situation. Gotta have Ospreay on the card. And against Orange Cassidy, I guess ties together with the storyline, but nonetheless, could be a show-stealing match. We'll see. Then we had Jon Moxley and Hiroshi Tanahashi face to face. This was good, for as much as it lasted. So, Moxley said he's been chasing Tanahashi all throughout for the last 3 or so years. He said he praised Tanahashi for his and says, of course they call you the ace. But he says that he's been working for this for 3 years. And he claims that at Forbidden Door, Tanahashi will call him the ace. So, Tanahashi took the mic and looked like he was going to say something. Looked like he was trying to get the mic a couple times during this, but didn't work. So finally, Tanahashi got the mic. Then we hear Chris Jericho's music play. And Chris Jericho, again, feud with, JS and the Blackpool Combat Club. So then, so Jericho was out there with Sammy Guevara and Ty Conti. So this obviously got heat for Jericho. Jericho said it was good to see him since he beat him in the main event of the Tokyo Dome. He told Moxley that the only reason he won the last week is because Jericho was in the Battle Royal because he was on vacation, reportedly. So then all of a sudden, an ambush assumed. So Lance Archer and another masked guy, didn't catch the name, they assaulted Moxley and Tanahashi, working for Suzuki-gun. So, and then speaking of Suzuki-gun, Jericho announced that in the middle of the ring that there will be a trios match at Forbidden Door. It will be on one side Chris Jericho, Minoru Suzuki, and Sammy Guevara